Mastering supply chain risk. Supply chains ignoring critical operational risks are ticking time bombs. Why do our teams need to identify and prioritize the most critical operational risks facing their supply chain in order to develop effective mitigation strategies and ensure the continuity of their operations? The dance of interconnectedness, navigating supply chain risk with human flourishing in mind. As I sit in my mountain retreat, surrounded by the towering pines and the soothing sounds of nature, I am reminded of the intricate web of connections that binds us all. The rhythms of the natural world have a way of putting things into perspective, and I find myself pondering the delicate balance of the supply chain ecosystem. In this vast, interconnected dance, every step, every move, every decision has a ripple effect that resonates throughout the entire system. It is a complex ballet of relationships, where the harmony of one partner can be disrupted by the misstep of another. And so, we find ourselves faced with the daunting task of identifying and prioritizing the most critical operational risks facing our supply chains. As I delve deeper into this labyrinthine world, I am struck by the realization that the most significant risks often stem from the human element. The supplier who cuts corners to meet a deadline, the warehouse manager who compromises on safety protocols to boost efficiency, or the logistics coordinator who compromises on quality to reduce costs. Each of these decisions can have far-reaching consequences that affect not only the supply chain, but also the lives of the people involved. I recall a conversation with a seasoned logistics expert who shared with me the story of a major retailer whose reputation was tarnished by a series of high-profile supply chain failures. The company had prioritized short-term gains over long-term sustainability, and as a result, suffered the consequences of tainted products, disgruntled customers, and a damaged brand. As we sat around the table, sipping our coffee and dissecting the case study, I couldn't help but think of the hierarchy of human needs. You see, when we prioritize short-term gains over long-term sustainability, we are, in fact, sacrificing our highest human potential, the need for esteem, belonging, and self-actualization, on the altar of expediency and efficiency. So, how do we navigate this complex landscape, where the pursuit of operational excellence often seems at odds with the well-being of the people involved? The answer, I believe, lies in cultivating a sense of empathy, compassion, and wisdom within our organizations. We must recognize that our supply chains are not just a series of nodes and networks, but a tapestry of human relationships, where every thread is interconnected and interdependent. By acknowledging this fundamental truth, we can begin to prioritize the well-being of our partners, suppliers, and employees, and in doing so, create a more resilient and adaptive supply chain ecosystem. Practical steps, you ask? Here are a few actionable strategies to get you started. 1. Map your supply chain. Identify the critical nodes and relationships within your supply chain, and assess the potential risks associated with each. 2. Foster open communication. Encourage transparent communication and collaboration among your partners, suppliers, and employees to identify potential risks and develop mitigation strategies. 3. Prioritize human well-being. Recognize that your supply chain is only as strong as its weakest link, the human element. Prioritize the well-being, safety, and dignity of your employees and partners. 4. Embrace diversity and inclusivity. Foster a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion within your organization, and recognize the value of diverse perspectives in identifying and mitigating risks. 5. Cultivate wisdom and empathy. Develop a culture of wisdom, compassion, and empathy within your organization, where every decision is made with the well-being of all stakeholders in mind. As I sit here, surrounded by the tranquility of nature, I am reminded of the profound wisdom of the ancient Greek philosopher, Aristotle. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. In the pursuit of operational excellence, let us not forget the human element. Let us recognize that our supply chains are a delicate dance of relationships, and that by prioritizing the well-being of our partners, suppliers, and employees, we can create a more resilient, adaptive, and compassionate system, a system that is truly greater than the sum of its parts. Identifying and prioritizing operational risks is a crucial aspect of supply chain risk management. It enables organizations to proactively develop mitigation strategies to minimize the impact of potential disruptions, ensuring the continuity of operations and maintaining a competitive edge. To begin with, organizations must conduct a thorough risk assessment to identify potential operational risks that could disrupt their supply chain. This involves analyzing internal and external factors that could impact the flow of goods, services, and related information from raw materials to end customers. Some common operational risks include supplier insolvency, natural disasters, equipment failure, labor disputes, and logistical disruptions. Once potential risks have been identified, organizations must prioritize them based on their likelihood and potential impact. This involves evaluating the probability of each risk occurring and the potential consequences of such an event. A risk matrix can be used to categorize risks into high, medium, and low categories, enabling organizations to focus on the most critical risks that require immediate attention. Next, organizations must develop effective mitigation strategies to address the identified risks. This may involve diversifying suppliers to reduce dependence on a single supplier, investing in redundant systems to minimize the impact of equipment failure, implementing business continuity plans to maintain operations during natural disasters, and establishing relationships with logistics providers to mitigate logistical disruptions. In addition, organizations should establish a culture of operational excellence that encourages continuous improvement and risk awareness. This involves providing training and awareness programs for employees, conducting regular risk assessments and audits, and recognizing and rewarding employees who identify and report potential risks. Another crucial aspect of operational excellence is the development of a robust incident response plan. This plan should outline the steps to be taken in the event of a disruption, including the communication protocols, escalation procedures, and recovery strategies. The plan should be regularly reviewed and updated to ensure that it remains effective and relevant. Furthermore, organizations should leverage technology to support their risk management efforts. This may involve investing in risk management software, implementing track and trace systems to monitor the movement of goods, and using data analytics to identify trends and patterns that could indicate potential risks. Supply chain visibility is another critical component of operational excellence. By having real-time visibility of their supply chain, organizations can quickly respond to disruptions and make informed decisions to mitigate the impact of potential risks. This can be achieved through the implementation of supply chain visibility platforms that provide real-time data and insights on the movement of goods, inventory levels, and supplier performance. Finally, organizations should establish partnerships with their suppliers, logistics providers, and other stakeholders to share risk management best practices and collaborate on risk mitigation strategies. This can involve regular meetings, joint risk assessments, and joint mitigation planning to ensure that all parties are aligned and working together to minimize risks. In conclusion, identifying and prioritizing operational risks is a critical step in developing effective mitigation strategies and ensuring the continuity of operations. By conducting regular risk assessments, prioritizing risks, developing mitigation strategies, promoting a culture of operational excellence, and leveraging technology and supply chain visibility, organizations can minimize the impact of potential disruptions and maintain a competitive edge in the market.